It was June 3rd, 2011, a warm summer night in Bloomington, Indiana. The streets were alive with laughter, music, and the smell of midnight air. Among the crowd was Lauren Spierer, a 20-year-old Indiana University student known for her energy and kind heart. She had just finished her sophomore year, and tonight was supposed to be nothing more than a casual night out with friends. But by sunrise, Lauren would be gone, and her disappearance would become one of America's most haunting mysteries. The night began at her small apartment on 11th Street. Lauren wore a white tank top, black leggings, and shoes that clicked softly against the pavement as she and her friends headed toward Kilroy's sports bar. Security cameras caught her entering around 12:40 a.m. She smiled, waved to someone off-screen, and disappeared into the blur of lights and chatter. Inside, friends said Lauren seemed happy, maybe a little tipsy, but far from out of control. Around 2:30 a.m., she left the bar barefoot. She'd taken off her shoes and left them at the counter. From there, the timeline became foggy. Witnesses placed her at several off-campus apartments with male friends. At each stop, she seemed more disoriented. A few texts were sent, some calls made, none answered after 4:30 a.m. Cameras later showed her walking down 11th Street alone, barefoot, clutching her phone. That was the last confirmed sighting of Lauren Spierer. When her roommate woke up the next morning, Lauren's bed was empty. Her phone, ID, and keys were missing. Panic set in quickly. Friends called hospitals, police, anyone they could think of. Within 24 hours, Bloomington was plastered with missing person posters. The media storm exploded. A college girl vanishes after a night out. It was every parent's nightmare. Police searched the woods, lakes, and nearby quarries, but there were no signs of struggle, no clues, no Race. Behind the headlines, whispers started. Who were the last people to see her? What really happened after she left that apartment? And why did every story seem slightly different? The investigation had just begun, and already everyone in Lauren's circle was under suspicion. The search for Lauren Spierer quickly became the largest in Bloomington's history. Police combed through forests, dumpsters, and drainage tunnels. Helicopters circled for days. But the more they searched, the stranger the story became. The last people to see Lauren alive were a small group of male friends, Corey, Mike, and Jesse, all fellow Indiana University students who lived near the bar. At first, they cooperated. They claimed they'd simply tried to help her get home safely that night. But when detectives began to piece together the timeline, their stories didn't fully match. Corey said Lauren left his apartment around 3 a.m. to head home alone. Mike said she was drunk but coherent, and he walked her part of the way before heading back inside. Jesse claimed he saw her near his townhouse around 4:15 a.m., but when he went inside to charge his phone, she was gone. 3 young men, 3 slightly different versions of one critical hour. Police brought each of them in for questioning. None of them were officially labeled suspects, but all of them lawyered up quickly. Each hired high-profile attorneys, something that raised eyebrows in the small college town. Then the CCTV footage emerged, blurry but chilling. At 3:38 a.m., Lauren was seen stumbling down an empty street. She crossed into a dimly lit area, and the camera caught a shadow following behind her. It wasn't clear enough to identify a face, but it wasn't one of the friends she'd been with earlier. For weeks, that frame haunted investigators. Rumors spread like wildfire on campus. Some said Lauren overdosed at a friend's apartment and her body was hidden. Others whispered she'd been abducted by a stranger, a passing driver, a predator, maybe someone watching her that night. The case soon turned toxic. Online forums exploded with speculation. The men involved began receiving threats. Lauren's parent, desperate for answers, publicly pleaded, "If you know something, say something. Don't protect anyone. We just want to bring our daughter home." Behind the scenes, detectives explored darker angles. There were rumors of drug use that night, small doses of synthetic substances that could have impaired her judgment or even caused cardiac arrest. Some sources claimed there was panic among the friends when she collapsed, that they feared calling 911 because of potential charges. But none of it could be proven. No body, no witnesses, no evidence. Months passed. Seasons changed. Volunteers kept searching, rivers, fields, abandoned buildings, but Lauren Spierer remained missing. Meanwhile, the men she was last with began to move on. They graduated, moved away, started new lives. But in Bloomington, the case became almost mythical, a ghost story whispered in dorm rooms and coffee shops. Detectives never publicly cleared or charged anyone, but privately, many believed someone from that night knew exactly what happened and simply wasn't talking. Then, nearly a year later, police received a chilling tip. A local man, already under investigation for another violent crime, had allegedly bragged in jail that he knew what happened to that missing college girl. When detectives questioned him, he smiled and said, "People disappear all the time. Some just get better at staying gone." The man was ruled out eventually, but his words lingered, a cruel echo in a case already full of dead ends. By the summer of 2012, official search efforts were scaled back. But Lauren's parents refused to give up. They still walked the campus every few weeks, handing out flyers with her face, the same smile from the night she disappeared. And then, 2 years later, a discovery in a nearby river would reignite the case and raise new, disturbing questions about what really happened. That night, 2 years had passed since the night Lauren Spierer vanished. The posters were faded now, their corners torn by wind and rain, but her parents still returned to Bloomington every few months. They walked the same streets she did that night, retracing every step, hoping for a miracle. Then, on a quiet June morning in 2013, a fisherman on the White River, just 30 miles from campus, noticed something tangled in a patch of reeds. It looked like fabric, light-colored, small, and something metallic glinted beneath it. Police arrived within minutes. The area was sealed off, and the water was drained. At first, everyone believed this could be it, the discovery that would finally bring closure. Inside the bundle was a set of clothing, eerily similar to what Lauren had been wearing that night. The size matched. The jewelry, a small silver bracelet, looked almost identical to hers. But DNA tests would later reveal the truth. The remains belonged to someone else entirely. Still, that discovery reignited interest in the case, drawing national attention again. News vans filled the streets. Theories resurfaced. Online detectives dissected every second of surveillance footage, convinced the answer was there, hidden in plain sight. Lauren's parents clung to hope, but as the years dragged on, even investigators began to admit privately they might never find her. Then came a chilling twist. In 2015, police arrested a man named Daniel Messel, a Bloomington resident, for the murder of another young woman, Hannah Wilson, a case eerily similar to Lauren's. Hannah, also a university student, had gone missing after a night out. Her body was found days later in a remote area. When police searched Messel's car, they found a hairbrush, bloodstains, and a phone that didn't belong to Hannah. The phone's model and case looked almost identical to Lauren's. Detectives immediately wondered, could this man have been responsible for both crimes? But once again, evidence ran thin. DNA linked him only to Hannah's case. Nothing directly connected him to Lauren Spierer's disappearance. Yet, in the minds of many, including investigators, the similarities were too sharp to ignore. Messel was sentenced to 80 years in prison for Hannah's murder, but he never confessed to any involvement in Lauren's case. Every time detectives asked, he simply smiled and said, "That girl? You'll never find her." It was the final cruel mystery in a case already haunted by too many unanswered questions. As time passed, Lauren's story became more than just a missing person case. It became a warning. Parents told their children about her. Students walked home in groups, watched their drinks, and stuck to well-lit paths. Her parents established a foundation in her name, raising awareness for missing persons, funding searches for others who never made it home. They often said, "If we can't bring Lauren back, maybe we can help bring someone else back." More than a decade later, the case remains unsolved. No body, no confession, no closure. But every year around June, people in Bloomington still leave flowers near the last spot she was seen, the corner of 11th Street and College Avenue, a small act of remembrance for the girl who vanished into the night, leaving behind a mystery that refuses to fade. Lauren Spiere's name still echoes in true crime circles, a story without an ending, a reminder that evil doesn't always reveal its face, and sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones who never get caught. Outro, for your YouTube voiceover. What do you think really happened to Lauren Spierer that night? Was it an accident, a cover-up, or something darker? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more real crime stories every day.